Hey, it is your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful empowered harmonizers. We are zooming in and focusing in a little bit more in depth. This to talk about sort of the immaturity, the emotional immaturity, and sort of the tantrum that a psychopath will take. Just sort of, especially when it seems like out of control anger, or when they do sort of behaviors that cross the line. You might even consider sort of crossing the line, like raising their voice, acting inappropriately at inappropriate times, like at a meeting, at a party, at a grocery store, where they'll sort of throw themselves into a temper tantrum. This might be momentary or it might be ongoing. And when you get into sort of someone who is that psychopath, who is an antisocial personality disorder, we're talking about a number of different subsets of individuals who have no brakes on the car. They have no emotional brakes. They know no limits to their vengeance or to their anger when they're really sort of on their tirade ride, or they're on their hissy fit when they have a point to prove or a score to settle. So this tantrum can be fueled by anger, which comes across as warm or heat or aggression or hostility or vengeance or stalking, where it's sort of ongoing, or it might be cold and callous, the stonewalling, the ignoring, the just sort of they're not present, and they keep you in this sort of tantrum-like state. Your needs aren't getting met, and God knows there is no normal communication. Communication lines are broken down. Houston, we've got a program, we've got a problem. The wires are down. I mean, it's almost as if you're in like a bunker-like situation and the enemy has snipped off the telephone wires and you can't make an outbound call. There is no communication lines between this individual, contrary to the objective information that they are present, or that they are alive, or that they're there, they're in proximity. There is no open communication lines. It just is like a scramble. There is no Morse code that's able to get through. There is no smoke signal. There is no homing pigeon. There is no cell phone. There is no beeper. There is no really anything you can really do to win in the situation, because remember, the antisocial individual who's sort of that risk taker, who will violate any sort of boundaries, any sort of norms, any sort of rules, any sort of protocol of respect or acknowledging and validating others, which requires a boundary to define yourself. Because they sort of blow past that, you have to understand this tantrum is usually to distract you from seeing what they don't want you to see. The tantrum is all about putting up a smoke screen so that you don't see what they don't want you to see. It is all a distraction. It is all a ploy. It's all a decoy. It's all to get you to pay attention to that and then cancel out or negate either what you've just experienced, what you've just felt, your sense of reality. This isn't right. We're like normal people. We need to talk this out. These are not your average Joes, your average Shelleys. These people are not normal. You have to understand that, you're not dealing with a momentary lapse or slip of judgment. When you're dealing with someone who is antisocial, you're dealing with someone who has a lack of judgment. They will rationalize everything and anything. To hold them accountable is an exercise in futility. Even though you might think that this is the way to talk it out, to hold them accountable, to hold them to task, to settle the score, to come to Jesus, to have a kumbaya moment, or just to, have, some degree of, closure. and to say, this isn't going to fly. This is not tolerable. Oftentimes, you don't have recourse to that channel of communication. So if you keep thinking that that is going to help you to heal or to feel better or let them go, we must correct that as a solution, because that is a no solution. That is a dead end. The car don't go there. The motorcycle can't take that. It's not, you can't put it through the paces. You can't go there. It's not, they're going to put up a roadblock. They're going to do something. They're going to vanish. They are going to give you the scowl. I mean, these are people who give the glare, who are very immature. This is the tantrum, and it's very age inappropriate. I mean, these people do not grow out of it. I have encountered an individual, this was about 10 years ago, who was 87, and he was on his fourth wife, lying about insurance documents, lying about his age, 87, and his wife was 41. I mean, he was on his 11th wife. I mean, these people don't quit. To them, it's funny. I mean, and then these people, were just did not, it was very interesting, the situation, but I'm just trying to tell you, these people don't quit. It does not end. I mean, these are the people who, you go to their house and they're in a bathrobe, they're dressed inappropriately, they greet servicemen in their underwear. I mean, they're just inappropriate. They're very inappropriate. They can have a lot of money, and then they show up in rags, holes in their shoes, as if they're just poor, pitiful me. But it is a distraction. It is a distraction. It is a distraction, and they will drive you to the brink. They will take it because they know no limits. When you get through this sort of risk taker, this sort of daredevil type that Dr. Albert Bernstein talks about in his book, Emotional Vampires. I mean, he talks about this sort of, risk taker, sort of rebel rouser type. The bad boy, the bad girl, the Jim Dean. You might have these sort of positive images, but you need to understand that they are all about control of their agenda. I mean, it's all about how can I create inroads for my agenda, no matter what pawns, pieces I need to move to make my inroads. They will do anything and everything. They will lie, cheat, steal, hurt, backstab, smear campaign behind your back. They will do whatever it takes to create their ploy so that you cannot get footing, you cannot see clearly, you cannot think clearly, you cannot rest easy. This is so that they can, once again, get off the hook. When you begin to call them out, call them to task, this isn't right, you're trying to keep them accountable, no way, Jose. This is not going down. They will not have it. They have a lack of conscience and a lack of judgment, and I've said it before, these people do not ever feel that they have done anything wrong. They literally do not believe it. They don't see it. You can't give them objective evidence. You can't give them plain common sense talk. You can't give them a barrage of situations that have gone awry because of it. To them, that is none of their business. They have whatever happens, the dominoes fall, the cookie's going to crumble, that's it, tough luck for you. I mean, despite your feeling to the contrary, this is what they do, and it's very age inappropriate. They're supposed to be a teacher, a mother, a doctor, a lawyer, an Indian chief, whatever it is they're supposed to be. I mean, they have no qualms about not being that in their place. They will then control it through really the strange details. So, in other words, they'll sort of, they'll just sort of create this haywire and confusion and basically a blur. I mean, it's the old smoke and mirrors, but so that you can't, when you're sort of on to them, that you're trying to hold them accountable. In other words, I can't tolerate you doing this to me. I cannot tolerate you doing this to here. I cannot tolerate this in business. I can't tolerate this to the house. I can't tolerate this in the community, the children, whatever it is your situation. There's no two ways about it. They are going to throw the tantrum. And, it's just like the 2-year-old, me. But, a 2-year-old will grow out of. These individuals do not grow out of it. And, you have to understand and ask, well, what is it that they don't want you to see? What is the temper tantrum distracting you from? And then you'll go, oh, I see what, okay. Because they are so adamant about it and they're on this tirade, they know no limits. There is no brakes to the car. There is no brakes to the bike. There is no brakes emotionally. They're not going to pump it out. They're not going to slow it down. They will take you to the brink. No, there are no limits. We talk about the strange and confusing and confounding things. Will they stake out in the parking lot? Will they put their car in weird places? Will they put their phone in weird places? Will they leave weird things that are spray painted on the ground? Will they make strange holes in the wall? Will they carve their initials? Will they carve things in sand, out of snow, out of sticks? I mean, weird things. We're talking about manipulators that make you go, and then you're like on this constant inhale and you're in a shock. I can't believe this just happened. And then so you begin living in this disbelief, and then you're sort of on this like disbelief mode, and you can't get your bearings because you're still trying to sort it all out. This is what they do in their tantrum to get you off bearings, once again, so you don't see what they don't want you to see. In other words, you're trying to call them to task, hold them accountable. This is not right. You're trying to have a shake hands and let's have an agreement here. There is no coming together. If you have made up your mind that this, you're in the beginning of making up your mind even that this isn't right, they're going to pull out all the stops. They are just fueled, studies have shown that, they have a lack of empathy, a lack of fear, their amygdala, which is they have a whole different set of, feelings, what you would consider, and to compare yourself, you can't compare yourself. It's like comparing a solid, cherry wood stick or something that's very hard to a hollow stick. I mean, it's not the same. You might be able to build a log cabin out of a solid stick, but you sure can't build a log cabin out of a hollow stick. It'll blow over. It won't be able to bear the weight properly. It just is going to fall and crumble. And so it is. So eventually, you need to understand really what you're dealing with, what is underneath the mask. And, a viewer said, if you just, can know this is the beginning. Yes, but you have to realize that they feel that they're always in control. And because of this, they also have even in females, they're known to show a high presence of testosterone. So if someone has a lot of testosterone, I haven't done a lot of studies on this, but I know that, when people have a deficit of testosterone, especially male, they're taking the supplements, they're getting their energy up, what you might call the masculine side, the male energy. So even the females have this sort of very male-like energy, a high presence of testosterone. So it's sort of, if you can imagine someone who is who is a basketball player, who is trying to fight the enemy, they're going to block you off. they're going to do whatever, they're going to shimmy and make their basket. I mean, they're just going to go in and they're just going to snowplow through. This is what these people do. They just, to me, like a high testosterone, and I remember reading this in, I think, a study, but, testosterone allows you to sort of go and create an aggressiveness, sort of, you might, in the positive, oh, this person's assertive, but then when all the stops are off and there's no limits, they will take you to the brink, when you think that you couldn't go any further. To me, it's like they're on that testosterone, they're on that drive, they're on that dopamine sensitivity. So they just take what they want. Why did you steal my door handle? I mean, strange, weird things that they're very in control of, these very small details that, you would go, what? I mean, that make you go, really? That they try to be on top of, because it gives them this sort of, again, the distraction factor. It's an escape factor so that they can Houdini out, they can slither out, they can go poof, pull the string and just make themselves invisible, and they'll just do whatever, and then you just are there to deal with it. So don't consume them with your senses. Do not consume them with your normal eyes, rational thinking, rational hearing, thinking that they're normal. You're going to use normal ways to resolve it because you've got a abnormality. So you can't solve these issues through the normal channels of what you're thinking of your toolbox. You've got to have a whole nother toolbox. You have to be able to put on your x-ray glasses and see through the immaturity. You have to see through the distraction that fear promulgates. It's kind of like the shock and awe. Look over here while we steal over here. Look over here while we cheat over here. Look at this so that you think that you're off balance and you don't see what I'm getting away with. Do you see how it's just a perfect solution that works for them a lot of the time until you know better? It's very difficult to be in the presence of a tantrum. That's why most children rule the roost when it comes to families, and people who have worked in children toy stores will tell you that parents can't stand the old temper tantrum and will do anything to pacify that screaming. Oh, I hope they grow out of it. So oftentimes people find it very difficult to deal with this. You have to know better. You have to hold your ground. You have to hold your senses. You have to put on your vision to go aha and have an aha moment. I see that I am okay. I'm in the right. I am perceiving. So you have to hold on to your jets while they blow their jets. You have to de-escalate. You have to stop, fighting fire with fire. You can't be a counterforce to their force. You can't be an energetic match to their tantrum. You can't be a tantrum to their tantrum. Otherwise you're just caught up in their silly string. You're caught up in their emotional super glue. You're caught up in their ball of string, and it's going to be very difficult to untangle yourself. So undo. Do not respond in like tantrum energy. It is all planned. This is how they're trying to map their outcome. This is how they're trying to get it. And so you have to really realize that you cannot take it personally, and that this is just what they do to act out. So if they can act out, then they can get away with something. The psychopath, you might call them just sort of the rebel, the Jimmy Dean, or I don't know what you might call someone else who you kind of have this spin on it, who you might Evel Knievel, these sort of risk takers, these people who cross the line, who, they just have this, they try to be just sort of the big people with the big bark. I guess you would talk about it, but really not so much of a bite. but they might have a bite also. You have to realize that this is a way for them to continue their manipulation and to get what they want. They think that they can do this, just sort of like an emotional dynamite, if you will. If they can just blow it up, they can just make their inroads, and you won't try to hold them accountable for the destruction. It's kind of, a lot of people just say, oh, just don't deal with it. They just don't want to see it. They don't want to deal with it. They don't, because I think a lot of people don't feel that they can handle the outcome. They don't have the experience. They don't have the wits. So they don't hold it accountable. So how do you hold it accountable? Well, you see it for what it is, and you know that there's something that they are trying to hide anyway. You have to know this. They are the people who try to get away with things. I mean, whatever it is they want to get away with, big, great, or small, these are the people who like to, they get the thrill, they get the juice, they get the high by getting away with things. This is what makes them feel special, entitled. This is just, they think that makes them a success. Okay, so to them, this is interpreted as, I am a success, I'm in control, I get what I want, I'm victory, no one stands in my way, I don't take no for an answer. These are the people who are like your salesmen who never give up. I mean, the people who could work in a timeshare. I mean, if you go with these, you're like, really? These people have no qualms about pushing. You'll find them in all aspects of society. Don't take their blow up. Do not react. It's just, you're on safe and hallowed and sacred ground. You have to realize that when you witness this, they're having, I consider it like the psychopath shock and awe. It's just like they're trying to put on a show. They're trying to put on a fireworks, an emotional fireworks. They're trying to get you to go, oh my God, like I don't have those fireworks. So you feel that you don't have the same weapons or arms to cope that they do. So people often feel that they're in an unequal match. Well, guess what? You are the winner. You need to realize, as soon as you can see through the fog, you can see through the smoke and mirrors, you can see the trap. It's like they're trying to build something that you walk into and then the floor gives out. This is just like what you might consider an emotional minefield. So it's just like if they were to dig out abyss in a hole or a rabbit hole that you were to fall down in despair, confusion, worry, concern, low self-esteem. So that's just kind of like the big hole, the big emotional abyss. If they can lead you on that path, oh, you're going to hold me accountable, and then you keep walking and you don't look where you're going, you're going to walk right into the fire pit. You're going to walk right into the rabbit hole of despair. You're going to fight fire with fire. You're going to get riled up and angry. You're going to take the bait. Do not take the low self-esteem, I don't have what it takes, I don't have equal fighting power, this has caused enough trouble, I'm snuffed out as a person, I'm a quitter, I'm a loser. That's all like the messages from the abyss. So in other words, it's kind of like falling into that abyss. If you were to put like sticks and like grass and then like gravel and it looks maybe some trees, and it looks like you can just keep walking. So they're it's a manipulation. The temper tantrum is like a emotional comb over that you think, do you see what I'm saying? That you then fall into the abyss, and then they're like, ha ha ha, I told you you were evil, I told you were wrong, I told you were out of place, and they're making you drink the Kool-Aid. And so it's kind of like when you're in that rabbit hole, let's just call it the emotional bunker that they misled you into, that you fall down, you have your low self-esteem, negatively defining yourself, bitter moments, angry, crying, whatever it is, missing school, missing work, missing marriage, missing your children, missing some really important things, missing events, missing feeling positive feelings, it's because you're sort of tuning into the radio that they have planted down there, like as if you were to fall down in that rabbit hole and there's no light, but there's this really weird radio that you can turn in, and it just sort of tells you all these negative messages. You will never succeed. You'll never get out. You are wrong. You have no control. This life is mine. This house is mine. This world is mine. This company is mine. This town is mine. This thing is mine. They're all about sort of, do you see what I'm saying? Despite evidence to the contrary. Is that true? Is your life theirs? Is your truth theirs? Is your heart theirs? Is your thought pattern theirs? Are your feelings theirs? No. You think your own thoughts. You have your own feelings. You've seen what you've seen. You know what you know. But they're going to try to mess it up. No. You didn't see that. You didn't hear that. You didn't feel that. They're going to... Do you see? It's like they're trying to invalidate your reality. You have to know better. Do not fall for the temper tantrum. You remain cool, calm, and collected, and understand this, the temper tantrum, is a distraction. What are they trying to distract me from? What is the reality? They're a terrible person. They're a terrible boss. They're a terrible this. They're trying to go after me. They want my... They want to, kick butt and take names. I mean, they want to take hostages. They want to take wounded. They want to show you that they can take down the biggest, the best, the brightest. I mean, these are people, who want to take down anybody and everybody, so that they're like on the top of the mountain. Look, this is what they do. Know better than to fall for the temper tantrum. Don't be driven to the brink. Nope. Back it up, 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 back it up. Put it in reverse. Go back. Nope. You are on solid ground. You see things truly. If other people don't validate you, then don't seek validation from their flying monkeys. That's the term in the literature. If you're trying to seek validation from their pawns, you're further escalating yourself into that rabbit hole. Those are you're asking, for directions from the person who's trying to, it's over there, and then next thing you're on a dead end. You need to come to your senses and be the wiser. You need to understand these types, yes, unequivocally. I would agree 1,000% with the viewer comment. So just knowing who they are, having the x-ray glasses. The minute the temper tantrum comes up, what are my x-ray glasses telling me? Why are they calling me at 4 a.m? Why are they calling me? Why are they doing this? Do you see how out of line they are? You did nothing to provoke or instigate this. This is not your fault. You are not in the wrong. Understand that 100%. Get back on hallowed and sacred ground. Get a solid walking stick, a pole, hit the ground. I mean, you are on strong ground. You are on solid ground. You are on sacred ground. Know that to be the case and reclaim your truth. And take off the temper tantrum goggles. Get out of the temper tantrum chamber. Get out of the rabbit hole with like the weird scrambled military, whatever it is that they're trying to get you to believe or tune into. Not tuning in, not picking up the signal. I saw that before. That was the mind. Nope, not going there, not taking a single step at all. Be willing to see the traps that they lay as traps and move away. Do not fight fire with fire. Do not fall for the temper tantrum. Don't let it throw you off. Don't take it personally. It's just what they do to get what they want. It's all a tactic of antisocial manipulation to get something that they want, but they don't want you to see it. What do you see? What are they going after? Write it down, write it down, write it down, write it down. This is your inspiration. This is your open door. This is your actual radio signal. This is your actual truth, which you are tuned into. You have a direct connection. Do not deny it. Claim your truth now, and you will be set free. And you'll also be on your road to safety, security, understanding, and self-esteem that can never be robbed from you again. This is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today, and I hope that these videos do help. Please share, please subscribe, and for goodness sake, please donate for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support. Peace out, peace in, peace be with you, and have a beautiful day.